Maybe before I get into the intros and whatnot, so story behind Yoodli. Hopefully this doesn't get recorded too much. When people ask what's the story behind Yoodli, like if a journalist or a VC asks, I'm like, well, it has 2 O's and an L. It sounds like one of those Silicon Valley words, Hulu, Google. Nobody's come up with this name, so the trademark search and search engine optimization was pretty easy. And it's got this ring to it. Yoodli, like from The Sound of Music, voice exercise, Yoodli had started as an AI speech coach. That's what I say publicly. All of that's a lie. The truth is, my freshman year of college, I'm a good innocent Indian boy. I've just come to the US. I'm in college. I'm excited. I was introduced to Fireball. I was looking for my friend, Tyler, my roommate. I couldn't find him. A couple extra Fireball shots later, I was like, Tyler, you do who? Where are you? You do who? And every subsequent you do who became Yoodli, Yoodli, Yoodli. So regardless of what you all think of the presentation, one of the things I promised Tyler when I started Yoodli was it would be so epic if one day grown adults are like sitting in serious meetings and being like, yeah, Yoodli. So anyhow, I just lost 2 minutes on that. It is so nice to meet everyone. Thank you for having me here. My quick story, I'm Varun. I'm CEO and co-founder at Yoodli. My why behind Yoodli is I think it is unfair that so many smart people in the world miss out on opportunities they deserve because they don't back themselves while speaking. This, to me, is the kid in India who deserves to be on this stage way more than me, but doesn't play the game. It's the woman who gets talked over in corporate America, where maybe the person who doesn't deserve the promo gets a job. It's the introvert, the immigrant, the non-native English speaker. So I quit Google to start Yoodli because I think we have an opportunity to help a lot of people. Fast forward a few years, people have been using Yoodli for all kinds of applications. Doctors use us to be trained on difficult end-of-life conversations. The conversation you have with a patient is mission critical in every way. People on the spectrum, people with stutters use Yoodli to find their confidence. People use us as a dating coach, and that's how AI Roleplays came about. Anyhow, for this conversation, I'm going to go into B2B SaaS and talk about win rates and ramp time, but my why behind Yoodli is hopefully you'll see that we can do all of that, but technology becomes truly impactful when you can change lives. And what I'm proudest of, and hopefully the challenge to you all is, you see this and you're like, wow, that was pretty cool. Like my spouse or my kid is applying for a job. Come, you gotta check out the sales tech. And when you see the democratization of enterprise tech, because you're excited to use it, is the hope where I think we're making change. Okay, B2B SaaS. Yoodli is used by customer-facing teams at many of the world's leading companies. Google, Salesforce, ServiceNow, Databricks, Visa's in the room, Procore's in the room, and many, many others. For all of the GTM stuff you would expect. I need to train my SEs on cold calling and pitch certification. I need to ramp my AEs. I need to train my CEs and my SEs on AE-SE handoff. I've got some golden hero demo stuff. But gosh, I've also got customer enablement and partner enablement and so much more. Now, everyone in this room sees AI role plays are here to stay. They're going to be part of every enablement stack in some capacity or the other. And rather than me being on stage talking about how awesome Yoodli is, I thought it would be way more fun to invite a subject matter expert for a couple reasons. So I'm going to invite Bitt in a second. Bitt's story is fascinating because, one, he has led global enablement rollouts at GlaxoSmithKline and GE and Brinks and massive companies. Bitt is also leading sales training at one of the world's biggest training companies. So he cares very deeply about IP, proprietary methodology. He's pretty skeptical when it comes to AI. He's worried about, well, is AI going to take my job? What's the deal? Bitt's also been doing this whole AI role play thing for 2 years. So before it was cool. And to my displeasure, even though he's a Yoodli customer, he takes demo calls with everyone else every week. And most importantly, because while we love him, he is one of our most challenging and demanding customers. I've received messages from Bitt late at night. So the idea here is for Bitt to share his candid TLDR of, here's what I'm seeing in AI role plays, and in a very balanced way, here's what truly sucks about them, or here's where the glitz and glam is versus what's helpful, and then I'll chime in with Yoodli stuff. So over to Bitt.
Thanks, man. What's up, brother? Okay. Hey, guys, he calls me Bit because that's what I go by, so feel free to do the same. My name is actually Jeff Bittner. I am, you may not even know, so yeah. I am down here from Cincinnati. That is where Braintrust, my company, is HQ'd out of. And we, as he had mentioned, we specialize in working with enterprise growth companies that are in the process of growing and looking to scale. And we help them with everything from sales enablement to leadership coaching through the eyes and the mind of neuroscience. And so 2 years ago, we were looking into this, right? When all the role play stuff was very much in its infancy, we were out there kind of looking around, and at that time, we had, there was maybe 4 or 5 companies that were really kind of doing it at this point in time. So I was looking through them, wanting to kind of gauge who I wanted to utilize, and he was 100% correct. I brought back, I said, hey, I'm looking at this company called Yoodli, and my founder's like, what? And I was like, I kid you not, that's literally the name of this company. But I want you to check them out. And so he did, and we did, and there was really kind of 3 key criteria that we were looking for. Number 1 is we wanted to make sure that the rubrics on the back end could be fully customized. And when I say that, what I mean by that is that from a customization standpoint, that our methodology is built into it, and then the feedback that comes out of it is our methodology, not AI's interpretation of our methodology, but following what we train our folks to do consistently. And so that was number 1. Number 2 is I wanted to make sure that there was a vast amount of personalization in the actual, what they call CoachBot on the back end, which is where the coaching comes into play. So the coaching language is our language. And so it's spoken in a way that sounds as authentic as one of our coaches would be on the back end. So it's not AI-ish, because I know you know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to use terms like AI-ish because I am not a tech guy. I don't pretend to be a tech guy. All right, so some of these things earlier, I honestly had no idea what you people were talking about. Anybody else? Were anybody else in here? You're just kind of like, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah, MCPs all day long. So anyway, that was number 2 for us. And then 3rd was the idea that if we're gonna have somebody that we're gonna partner with in this, I'm not dealing with chatbots all day long. It ain't gonna happen. Not when I have the size companies that I'm responsible for taking care of in this space. I have to make sure that everything is up and running. It is working 24/7, kicking ass, taking names, and that's what I needed to have happen. And so when we took a look at what Yoodli provided on the back end, it was stellar. And so those were kind of the big things we were looking at when we were analyzing what we needed kind of right out of the gate.
And then we convinced Bit to work with us, and then he said never again. I'm joking.
It was a process.
You know, I can talk about, so the kinds of use cases we typically have. SAP is using us to certify all of their partners on a few specific rollouts. I'm GCP. I need to train 15,000 reps on the new Gemini pitch. Oh my God, that sounds so tough, especially when OpenAI is doing what they're doing. Training 15,000 reps post-SCO is tough, but I've also got to train 150,000 partners, right? Tech Mahindra, Wipro, et cetera, on the Google Cloud Better Together story. These are real pain points that our customers face. But let me talk to you about my pain points, because I think this will be more fun. I'm a first-time founder. I'm a first-time manager, and this Yoodli journey has been pretty exciting. We went from 10 people to 55 people, which means I'm perpetually frustrated. We now have 20 sellers on our team. I've never done enablement before, and when I'm looking at their calls, I'm just like, God, why can't you say this one thing? Like, we talked about it 5,000 times. And our superpower at Yoodli is we're shipping new product every day, right? The tool is perpetually evolving, and at any given time, at least 20 people are out of touch with this pitch. Like this, at a small startup, I'm losing my mind with this problem. I'm like, oh my God, now I see why Google Cloud pays a lot of people a lot of money to do this at scale. So I'll show you.
Or you could work with us. I'm just saying.
A small startup, we don't have the Braintrust, great company. We're a small company. Everyone says don't do a live demo. The Wi-Fi here is pretty bad. I promise Yoodli works, but it's way more fun to show it to you live, so YOLO. Here's how I'm solving my problem at Yoodli, right? I can come in and I can create any role play from anywhere in the world, inbound, outbound, manager skills training. Like one of my beliefs is the future of learning is experiential. Nobody's going to learn with like a passive back and forth quiz or a disc assessment or whatever. Like everything is this human-like thing. We'll talk about that in a sec. Human-like. Yoodli is not as good as a human. Yoodli does not plan to be as good as humans. Yoodli just wants to be helpful to help get the sellers from a 0 to an 8. The authenticity, the nuance, the oomph of being human, I hope a human always does. Like, we're not building tech to change that. Anyhow, so folks come, they create any role play from anywhere in the world. Here are some fun ones: skills accreditation, small talk, baseline assessments, etc. But my problem that I'm trying to solve is I just want my sellers to say the thing from our pitch deck. That's it. Especially when our pitch deck is ever updating. I can come and create a role play with single persona, multi-persona, maybe give one of the people, bad mood. They took that call because one of Varun's VCs convinced them to talk, whatever. So here's my little role play where I'm like, great. It would be really fun if I showed my sellers what a hero demo looks like. That is, they come, the AI shares its screen, shows you the Yoodli pitch. I am going to take the role of an enablement buyer, and I want our sellers to walk in our customers' shoes, develop empathy, and hit the talking points in my pitch deck. That is my job to be done, not Bant, not Medic, nothing else. So I've come in, I've made a role play. By the way, this is all AI generated. We can talk more about the agent stuff later. I can give the AI a bunch of context. In this case, I uploaded my pitch deck, but obviously Yoodli is smart enough. It can pull from my system of records, Slack, CRM, G Drive, OneDrive, whatever. In this case, I gave Yoodli the persona where I'm like, you are a good seller at Yoodli, a little smooth. I can come up with any rubric from anywhere in the world. This is something we're super proud of. A rubric could be, create a custom goal. This could be speak in threes and remember to smile, remember to ask them about their family, use this methodology called everyone comes up with their own acronym. Bant, hello, Varun, cat, star, whatever. Maybe demo your product, and in demoing the product on slide 6, remember to crack this joke. So you can create very, very, very detailed customization. Let's ignore that. There's a bunch of user provisioning. Give the AI a set of objections, but don't get into the details on how to create a role play. My job to be done is Yoodli needs to be a good seller. I'm going to be an enablement person. You have 5 minutes. Teach me how to do this pitch. God help me with the demo. OK. Obviously, Yoodli works with most major languages. That's enterprise requirement, right? Brazilian Portuguese is different from Portugal Portuguese. You can customize, should the AI interrupt me? Should the AI say I have a hard stop? Should the AI pull in the coach during the call? You can do so much with AI role plays. One of my pet peeves is when I talk to people, they're like, AI role plays? I just prototyped that on GPT. Like, absolutely, you can prototype Google search on GPT. Building an end-to-end ecosystem is near impossible. Or a lot of people tell me, AI role plays, isn't that for cold call certification and objection handling? That's like saying I bought my MacBook to send emails. Of course, you can do so much more. This is just an idea to show what the art of the possible is. Ideally, you look at this, and it works. And then you get ideas for what we can do with instructor-led demos. So this is Dan. Dan's a seller at Yoodli. He has 5 minutes to wow me.
Hey, Varun, great to connect with you. Thanks for taking the time today. I know we've got a tight window here, so I'm going to jump straight into showing you what we're doing with Yoodli. But first, I'd love to get a quick sense of what you're working with. What teams are you supporting right now? And what does your current sales training setup look like?
Hey, Dan, great to meet you. Look, I've heard a bunch about this Yoodli thing. It's very buzzy. I hear about AI role plays. A colleague has told me it's in some conferences, etc. My quick deal, I run all of sales enablement. Internal, partner, customer. I'm super senior. I care about 2 things. 1, AI adoption. My CRO will fire me if I don't show AI metrics. 2, revenue stuff. Show me any revenue impact things. Tie it to ARR, tie it to deal rates, tie it to win rates, whatever. I've got to hop in 3 minutes. Show me some magic.
I'm going to pull up our deck right now and walk you through the revenue stuff fast. Okay, so here's the thing. We cut through the noise with actual revenue outcomes. One of our customers cut their sales training review time by 75%.
Hey, Dan, that's super cool. Can you talk to me about the enterprise customization and your compliance stuff? That's what I really care about.
Absolutely. Let me jump to the slide that shows our enterprise credentials. So we're SOC 2 Type 2 certified in GDP.
You get the gist of it, right? I'm messing around, but here's the art of the possible. Now when I'm teaching people stuff, I can create this as an AI tutor where I come, I've joined Google, I do the whatever 1-hour session, But then Varun AI is like, hey, welcome to Google. Here are the 5 things you need to know. Here are our vision, values, mission. Here is our product suite. You got it? Any questions? Harmony, you sure? You botched number 3, say that again. Okay, great, you're onboarded. Now, boom, let's put you in the batting cage to practice this live. That's 7 minutes of enablement and you are good to go. 5 minutes with a contextual tutor, boom, 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 and then you're ready. I don't know if Abby's in the room. I'm gonna put her on the spot. Abby joined us a month ago. When Abby joined us for 2 days, nobody on Yoodli talked to her. That's not our culture, but we were like, just go talk to Yoodli. She spent 2 days talking to Yoodli nonstop. Obviously, we're making that faster and better. Went on calls. I kid you not, she closed her first 2 calls the next day. Like, Abby's time to ramp was 2 days, and that's why we brought her to like her first conference with Yoodli. And she can give you her entire onboarding story. I have lots more. I can show you results, dashboards, et cetera, but Bit, over to you.
Yeah, so look, let me just be clear. I wasn't paid to be here today, right? I'll be honest, I'm probably losing money being here today. I love you, but let's just be honest. So, but I wanted to come because I think it's super important for people to hear about things from the perspective of somebody who's actually using the tool, right? Like not just the devs, not just the companies, but somebody who's been in the trenches and been doing this for 2 years. And what I've learned and what we've seen from a results standpoint, a really good example is back at the end of 2025, we had a $6 billion securities company that we'd been working with that gave us the opportunity to do a pilot with them in the States using the AI. If it worked, we could go global with them. Ended up doing their entire United States team, and they said, look, here's the deal though. The last sales and training company we brought in here, we were at about like a 40% implementation. Like it was 40%, nobody was doing anything with it, it's disappearing. We have to figure out a way to actually get people engaged. And I said, okay, that's exactly what this tool was designed for. Let's see if we can bump that number. We bumped the number. So we did a full rollout, we did an entire baseline and then created role plays for them to go through, and we had a 96% engagement rate with that client across the entire United States. Needless to say, they were stoked, and that moved us into global contract. So that is one example of some of the success we're having. Another one, this was a $2 billion pharma company that we worked with. This is honestly my favorite. So I don't know if you guys in sales enablement ever deal with, I know you do, specific individuals, and they're like, let me tell you about my team. They are rock stars at creating trust and at creating personal connection. We're so proud of it. We've been doing it for so long. This is the #1 thing that we do. Oh, fantastic. Okay, that's great. Good to hear. Well, what we do using this tool is we build a baseline that allows them to go in and role play against someone that they typically would, right? We just create a generic persona, someone that they're used to. They don't get scored at the end that they can see. It's just, we want to see how you communicate for 15 minutes. Sell them on whatever you want to. We don't care. Just show us what you do. So they go in and they do all this, and on the back end, we get the metrics on that. And at our QBR, we went to them and we said, okay, so right now, your team is sitting at an 86% in personal connection. Congratulations, that's awesome. So that's 3 months after we're using the role play tool. But I have a question for you. What percentage do you think your team started at? You talked very, very highly about where they were. Where do you think they actually started? Where do you think they started? Give me a number. What percent? 25%? 40-ish? And there is no zero behind that. 4% connected personally. The Rockstar group. Yeah, the Rockstar group. Yes, 100%. 4%. So we were able to show them, you went from 4 to 86 in 3 months. And it had nothing to do with your perception, and that's the key here, right? They are internal to it. They can't see it from the outside looking in, whereas this is metrics that AI isn't going to lie about because it's built into our custom rubrics. So there's a lot of power behind that tool. And then, oh yeah, our overall skills improvement across the board is 15% increase across, when you average it from an aggregate, for every client that we have, we're sitting at right at a 15% average, and that's discovery calls, capability calls, all of our neuroselling, any of the barriers or objections calls. Aggregately, it's a 15% increase across the board. So it works.
Depending on the day.
Depending on the day. The
Depending on the
methodology.
instructor.
Yeah, that's a fact.
No, I think jokes aside, the reason I'm so excited about Yoodli and the impact we can have in the field is it makes learning fun. Like that's just the bare bones, right? Of course, you need the Slack and the CRM integration and the InfoSec stuff and the high-spot seismic integration into shape. Like that's table stakes. But build a platform that people actually love and want to keep using. Here's our vision of what we've seen as in enablement from the outside. I'm hoping one day people look at this as like the Yoodli triangle, but essentially it seems like people learn stuff end to end. The way they learn skills is in three ways, right? I learn some stuff, or I acquire some content. I practice those skills, or I reinforce them, and then I do the actual thing on a gong call, on a clary call, in person, on stage, etc. Now, the problem in the status quo is these three circles are just so disjointed from each other. What I do in learn doesn't apply to what I do in practice, doesn't apply to what I do in do. There's lost time, there's less retention, I can't quantify ROI, they're all different tools, obviously. Our vision for Yoodli is, in the current world, the way I learn stuff is through passive one-way videos, multiple choice quizzes where I keep checking the box until I get the right answer, maybe some conversation with a chatbot if a company is really, really cutting edge, or me sitting at the back of a training. Like, that's got to change. And our entire vision at Yoodli is nobody should learn through a one-way interaction. Everyone gets their own personalized AI tutor. Right? Harmony AI is now talking to everyone who's joined at Canon, personalized to them, going back and forth, and it's like, I'm going to meet you where you are, and by the way, this is completely private to you. Obviously, massive impact in sales enablement, and people are using us for manager training and more, but imagine what we can do to learning. The kid in India is no longer learning about the heart or the kidney or the liver by just reading a textbook. Instead, Professor AI, like the human professor does their magic. There is no substitute to that. But as an augmentation, Professor AI is like, Varun, let's talk about this. Do you see where the heart is? Okay, point out the kidney. Okay, cool. No, I'm clearly not a bio guy. You get the gist of it, right? Like, the possibilities are endless. It's the same thing with any kind of certification. So that's the learning phase. Let's get people to learn through this experiential back and forth. The next is the practice phase, and I think the market has seen this. AI role plays are here to stay. I think 2 years ago when I said that, everyone was like, foolish, go check out HighSpot or Seismic or whatever, but I think everyone now has a version of AI role plays to reinforce skills. And not the level 1 basic, like come cold call, but let's help you practice value selling and executive presence with a buying committee where one of the personas is your SE, the other is your coach, and then there's an executive, and they'll jump in back and forth, and we'll automatically generate these from your gong calls because we know where the company struggles. That's reality today. And then the last piece is the stuff I do, right? I'll give you an example at Yoodli. We need to get our sellers to do stuff. An example of doing stuff is connect your calendar to your CRM so that there's visibility into call bookings. Today, every seller will call poor Matt, our RevOps guy, 50 times being like, I can't find the calendar button. How do I do this again? Another Slack nudge. It changes because Matt AI can now show them, here's how you do this. Can you see my screen? You got it? Okay, great. Now, Varun, you share your screen with me and show me. Great, you're good to go. This unlocks partner enablement and tool enablement and customer enablement, and it all falls in the same gamut. We talk about do more with less. All of enablement can be done by those same few people with content autogen. So we'll talk a lot more about this, but this is the future I see. Not next week, not next month, but now. And the AI tutor was just one version of that. It depends on our creativity. Like as an instructional designer, where do I take this? Cool. I said a lot about vision-y things, what gets us excited. I went on a tangent about the name Yoodli. Bit, what sucks?
Oh, okay. So that was a part of my deal coming down here, was I wanted to share the reality of things, right? Because let's just be honest, nothing is perfect, nor is Yoodli. But that's okay. I don't need perfection. I just need accountability, honestly. And so a couple of things. Number one, someone earlier today, I do not remember the speaker who it was, but they talked about the uncanny valley of speaking to live avatars. That is an absolute reality. Live avatars, they have them. I don't use them. It's weird. It's creepy. Everybody finds them creepy. It's a fact. Like, seriously, I don't care. I set up a static image, and it works just as good. It's one of those things that everybody thinks they want until they get it. I'm just telling you. That is a reality. So, sorry. The second one is working with a energetic entrepreneur who puts out new things every day, getting the communication of what is new is a struggle, right? Like I'll be in the system and I'll say, oh my gosh, when did this arrive? And I'll call the team and they'll be like, that's been there for 2 weeks. I'm like, let a brother know. I mean, seriously, I am interested in what's happening inside the software. It'd be fantastic. And so communication, if only you knew someone who taught that. Anyway.
Can I actually jump in on that? Yeah, I mean, both very true, and both things we need to solve. I think on the customer enablement piece, that's why I'm so excited about this instant enablement, right? Like today our sellers get a Slack nudge being like, do your 7 minutes of enablement. We're now rolling that out to customers because I am the enablement person at Yoodli, and I'm dropping the ball, and I'm like, I see our customers' pain points. So that's coming. Avatars is really interesting. You know, our point of view is every buyer in the world will ask for it, especially someone in pharma, being like, I want my sellers to practice with these avatars. Every seller who uses it says it is weird. 100% of sellers we've talked to. We built it in as a compliance checkbox because you have to. And here's the truth. Other vendors are great, et cetera, talk to them, but everyone uses the same avatar company behind the scenes. None of us is building our own avatars. Like, it's too much work. That's a full-time company. We take an API from, the OpenAIs, and there are a couple of big startups who do this, and we pull their avatars in. They all look the same. So whatever you don't like about ours, you likely don't like about other folks, but we need to improve.
When do you think those will be?
I don't know. I think the industry is 6 months away from these being good.
What's so fascinating is I've asked that question for 2 years, and do you know what my answer is every 6 months when I ask? 6 more months. That's awesome. That is we couldn't have scripted the more perfect answer. Well done. Yes, so 6 more months, everybody. Sorry.
No, this is great. I mean, these are all realities of AI role plays. And yeah, Bit, we've got 3 minutes. I'd love to get into some Q&A. Maybe parting thoughts for folks who are like, I'm not that techie, but I need to do AI role play. I'm hearing about agents. What are true things that they should think about as they're evaluating whether they should be part of the stack?
Yeah, I mean, all I can do is just recommend doing what I did. Just go in, test some stuff out, and see what sticks and what you like. But when I say test, don't just go and get a demo. I mean, get access to the tool and go in there and mess around and see the layout. Check the UI, make sure that it's simple, make sure that it offers what you're looking for, make sure the feedback aligns with what it is you want it to feed back, right? Get your hands a little bit dirty. It's not hard. I've looked at almost every single one of them that exists. It's part of my job to do that. You should do the same. Not look at all of them, that takes forever, but look at a few. All right, and so one last real quick story I want to share, though, is that one of the really cool things for me is my 17-year-old daughter at the time was interviewing for her first job at Target, so super exciting. And she came to me, she's like, can I do a mock interview with you? And I said, yeah, for sure. So I did a mock interview with her. She was like, that was horrible. I'm going to go to mom. I'm like, don't go to mom. I'm going to create an interview for you. So I did. I went into the system. It took me less than 5 minutes. Super simple. This thing crushed it. And she said that it actually helped her land the job because 3 of the questions it asked were the exact questions that the person at Target asked, because I literally told it to be a Target employer to hire. And it pulled info from Target that it would have asked. And it helped her land the job. So I'm just saying, there's utilizations all over the place. You just have to think through it.
No, thank you for sharing that. Look, I think one of my beliefs, and I have no data to back this up, is if you use a tool that people love, and we started Yoodli because we want to help billions of people communicate with confidence. GTM enablement is so important, and it's one way to do that. But ideally, this is a tool, you can go to Yoodli, you can start using it for free. The consumer product needs a little bit of love, but it gets the job done. Ideally, you use it and you're like, oh my God, I have this debate camp, and I have this idea, and obviously all of the GTM use cases, reach out. And if the tool is simple and you love it and people find it fun, great, you have your answer. Thank you, Bit. We've got time for one or maybe 2 questions. There's got to be something. Yeah.
The percentage that you showed about the company that went from 4% to
86?
Is it ever, in a situation like that, it almost sounds like that's...
Bananas?
Yeah. And so if they feel so confident about their business, you were actually at 4%, how do you show the impact of that 86?
So what was funny is the people did it for us, because they actually came back and they said the training actually, what we thought was connecting was just us sharing about our product. They had a complete misinterpretation of what the word connecting meant. In their mind, it was, well, I'm going to connect by talking about my product. That is the last thing that you connect about, right? No one cares about your product. I want to know if it's going to solve my problem. Like, I give a rip about your product. But in their mind and in their trainings, that's what connecting was. So again, it's small, but it was massive.
Can I wrap up? I mean, folks, please find us after. There's a happy hour. 3 calls to action, actually. Number 1, we have dinner. If anyone wants to join, Bit's going to buy. Come talk about AI role plays. Everyone's invited. That's 1. Second, I didn't realize, but Natalie's here from Procore, and she's been a Yoodli super user as well. So if you want a different perspective, please chat with Natalie. I think folks from Visa are here as well. There are folks from LHH are also here. So a bunch of Yoodlers in the audience, get feedback from them. And then we have an upcoming webinar that's on the next slide. Anyhow, we're going to talk about our vision for experiential learning, where the industry is going, what does the high-spot seismic stuff mean, with hopefully a fresh perspective. Everyone's invited. It should be a good time. Come join us. We have a booth. We'll be there tomorrow. Bit, thank you. That was savage.
Good times.